Welcome to the H2Know podcast, where we take you beyond the headlines and into the heart of Hamilton Community Schools. From classroom innovation and career pathways to success stories and community connections, this is your inside look at what makes Hamilton shine. Here's your host, Zach Harry.
Hello, Hamilton community. Welcome back into the H2Know podcast. Zach Harry alongside Mat Rehkopf. He is the first multi-time visitor on the podcast. So,
Well, actually, this is my third time because the second time Zach forgot to hit play. So here we go.
No, I'll edit that out. Don't worry. Yeah. No, I'm actually recording this time, so I'm learning, right? We talked about that. Yeah, I'm learning a lot about podcasts. And
it's all good.
To actually hit the record button and look over at my computer and actually see. Anyway, we like to have a little bit of fun here, too. Mat Rehkopf is here to talk about the Ignite program, which is new at Hamilton High School, and he's on again because we have new opportunities in the world of work-based learning and career exploration here in Hamilton Community Schools. How would you explain what the Ignite program is for parents who don't know, maybe in 60 seconds or less?
Yeah, so the Ignite program is a program for students who traditionally might not want to sit in school 5 days a week, want to be able to get out there, use their hands, explore different careers in the world, whether it's in the trades or not, but to really have a unique, innovative approach to getting kids out of school at a much younger age, like they would be going to the tech center in 11th and 12th grade, trying to find a way to make that happen for them in 9th and 10th grade, while still getting all the classes that they need for graduation.
And classes for these students are online this year when they're in the Ignite program.
Yeah, so 3 days a week, students are at school doing classes virtually. So they're still getting their core classes, their elective classes, but they're in a virtual format, working with the teachers who are in the core program. David Shepard is the core principal. He also oversees Ignite. And so those students do their tests or quizzes, things with the teachers online, which then creates the flexibility to get students out into different arenas, whether it's Habitat, our mini tech center that we're taking to, building beds, et cetera, but letting them get out and use their hands like they want to do at a much earlier age.
I was able to explore Route, which is a super cool opportunity for these kids in the Holland, Zeeland area right off the highway. Why don't you explain what Route is, and we can kind of dive into that a little bit more.
Yeah, so last winter when Ashley Meyer, work-based learning coordinator, Mr. Shepard, our core principal, and I were really brainstorming ways to get kids out of school a little bit more, to start building those skills that they want using their hands, because we saw it in our HVAC program. Kids will say, oh, I know how to do this, I know how to do that. You give them a tape measure and they can't read a tape measure, right? They don't know how to use a saw safely. And so we wanted to start to get some of these kids those trade skills early and have an idea of maybe if they do want to go to the tech center, which program they want to go to. So we had heard about this program called Route. It was established as a homeschool mini tech center for students that are younger. It's run by a couple guys in the Holland area who were dads. They were homeschool dads. They wanted to get experiences for their kids. And once we started figuring, hey, we got enough kids to make a full day of this, they agreed to have just a Hamilton day. So they run a couple days for homeschool students. They have just a Hamilton day where our kids can come in and start to learn about the trades.
And these kids are learning framing, electrical, plumbing. I mean, Randy Scudder was in there when I was in there, one of our community members, and just doing a great job with the kids. So they have different professionals coming in and teaching them different things every week.
And usually what they like to do is, one of the big projects that they're doing right now is they are creating a bathroom. And so they built the floor, they built the walls, and eventually they'll put in the toilet, they'll put in the sink, they'll do the electrical, they'll put in a door, they'll hang a window, they'll put in laminate flooring. They're essentially in small groups building their own bathroom. But in order to do that, well, a lot of times they'll take students, let's say it's time to get ready for plumbing. They'll take those students to Makatawa Plumbing, in which there'll be little stations. They'll learn how to do some of the plumbing aspects, and then they'll come right back to the place to Route, and then they'll plumb their own bathrooms over the course of the next week or two. So they're learning from business professionals with our teacher who takes them, and then they'll come back and do it in their own mini bathroom.
At the time of this podcast, it's November 4th right now. I mean, we've only been in school a couple of months, and these kids are already learning all these things that a lot of them didn't know how to do. I mean, what's the success of route specifically thus far? What have you seen? I mean, what did you think going into the school year, and how has it maybe exceeded those expectations?
Well, for me, first and foremost is the students en route. For me, what I want them to do is I want them to pass all of their classes, right? I want them to get a good quality Hamilton education in which they're passing all of their classes in school, which then can allow them to go and do some of the fun hands-on opportunities on the outside. And we have a lot of opportunities outside of route, because again, route is 1 day a week. It's about 20 weeks through the school year, but then we fill in with a lot of other cool activities. But I want them to pass their classes so that when they're juniors and seniors, they're eligible to go to Tech Center. They're eligible to do the CDL program. They can do HVAC here in Hamilton. Heck, if they want, they can dual enroll because they want to go to college. But we've passed our classes in the freshman, sophomore year to make that happen.
How do you think that online learning is going? How are the educators there to help support them? Because that's a big adjustment going from traditional to online.
Yeah. I think it probably depends on who you ask, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think some of the kids, are liking it. It's smaller classes. They're moving at their own pace. Some kids are doing really well and they're excelling to where they might be able to do additional classes through the year. And that's the flexibility that we have because they are coded as virtual in that sense. And some kids are, like you said, we're getting into November and they might not love the online format, but that's where I love some of the creativity with Mr. Shepard, to where he can continue to work with the teachers to try to build some more projects, a little more direct instruction in some of those areas, for them to then be able to show their learning as well too.
But our Ignite students are eligible for extracurriculars, eligible for athletics through Hamilton, correct?
Yep. They are Hamilton High School students learning in a virtual format alongside teachers, and then going and getting work-based learning experiences outside of here, right? And so that's where it is. We use a platform called Edmentum. That's where the students will learn their math, their science, their social studies, their English, etc., alongside of the teachers helping them. And that's a system we've used forever in the core program, whether it be for students moving ahead, taking online classes in the library, or if students had failed and needed some credit recovery. So we've used the same system for quite a while. The teachers know how to use it and to really serve our kids well in that arena.
You've talked about some of the other activities outside of route. Habitat for Humanity is coming into play. I know Outdoor Discovery Center has been in play. What are some of the other things that these kids are going to be doing?
And I think this is where, again, I have to give a shout out to Dr. Lusk, our school board, for really investing in career development, right? And I go back to having a position that I'm in now, but also having a position like Ashley Myers, right? She has such a great connection to the business community, so that when we say, hey, here are the activities that we want to do, she can very easily pick up the phone, call out to the community, and the things just start showing up for our kids to do. We have a lot of time where our kids are working 1 day a week at Habitat for Humanity. The first few weeks when they did that, they were up in the Granville, Grand Rapids area. They were just finishing up a house. So they were doing some framing. They were working on doors. They were doing some painting. They were, getting the house ready for a family to move in. Now they're going to be moving into some other areas where they can do some framing. They're working at some apartments and stuff like that to use the skills that they're learning at Route then out into the community and some of those nonprofits. She found a place where they're making beds for kids in need. There's a great organization out there that we cut all the wood for like 13 or 14 beds to be made a few weeks ago when it was still nice and warm out. They have some stuff going with Love Inc., in which they might be working on some appliances and fixing those. And I think what's great is now we have so many things for them to do that when kids do get ahead, we can use it as a motivation to say, hey, if you're on track, you can maybe go a third day this week for half a day, and we can go work on some things. And then the ODC said, hey, we have some campsites that need to be made. It was funny. I think one of the kids at one point said, oh, this is what you use A squared plus B squared equals C squared for. And so it's just, they finally used it in the context that it needs to be used for. That wasn't that wasn't on a quiz or a test. So those are some of the fun things that they've been doing.
And we have how many students enrolled in 25, 26?
Yeah, currently we have 13.
Okay. And transportation is all handled through the school.
Oh yeah, Mr. Shepard, myself have a good time driving them to route on Thursdays, and Mr. Vance works with Mr. Burrish on the other days. So it's been going good.
What do you think the longevity of Ignite is? I mean, I know we talk a lot about Career Line Tech Center and getting these kids prepared for that, but even beyond that, the next 5-6 years.
The ultimate goal is that next year these students would be then getting out into the community in more of an internship model, right? So currently we have freshmen and sophomores. Hopefully these sophomores will be able to go to the tech center. They can stay in Ignite if they want, go to the tech center. Hopefully their tickets punched and they're good to go. For some of these freshmen, what we'd love to see is next year, maybe they do take maybe they want to take HVAC. They want to get in a PE class, but they still want to get that core content from Ignite. They absolutely can do that if they found that to be successful. Or we're really wanting to get these students some internship opportunities out in the community, whether it might be with some small engine, heck, a real estate office, who knows? Yeah. So that's where I think just continue to get these kids those work-based learning experiences to help them really figure out what they want to do when they graduate, and graduate on time as Hamilton High School students.
We want to thank our community sponsors right now here on the H2Know podcast. The Hawkeye Hometown Series sponsors make things like this possible, along with the Hawkeye Hometown Tailgate, Academic Basketball Community Night, Victory Day, and then the Hawkeye Hometown 5K. So 4 community events plus the podcast, all made possible by these outstanding 42 community sponsors that you see on your screen right now. Today, we want to spotlight Sherd Construction and Justin Scutmott Builders. Both have been longtime sponsors of Hamilton Community Schools and do a lot around our community, so we want to thank them. And Matt, we also want to recognize Pilot, the gas station, on M40, just south of the highway. They reached out to us a couple months ago and just said, hey, we want to give you $10,000 for your school district. And of course, we had to make sure it was real, but it was very real. And that $10,000 is going into the Ignite.
Well, and they had reached out to say, we've heard a lot about the work-based learning opportunities that are happening in Hamilton. We have this $10,000 pilot grant that we would love to have you apply for. We didn't even know it was out there. Mm-hmm. They asked us to apply. And so we wrote it in such a way that we're going to be using it to buy tools for the Ignite program in and of itself. Because I think there's still, yes, we love that relationship with Route, but I think there's still things that can be done here and around the Hamilton area that we need some of those tools for. And we're so very thankful for Pilot for coming through and giving us those grant dollars.
Those community partnerships are so big, and that's why we appreciate all the sponsors. And we'll talk about CDL on a different podcast, but I mean, that's exceeding expectations for the 25-26 school year as well.
And I think that's the thing that when we talk about we're Hamilton Community Schools, we're not Hamilton Public Schools. When we look at so many of these work-based learning experiences that we do, they are driven by community volunteers and community partnerships to not put a financial burden on the district. And our community is stepping up.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen that several years in a row now, whether it be the Hawkeye Hometown Series, CDL, and opportunities of co-op and hosting our kids on job shadows, just outstanding things going on in our community. Matt, what do you want families to know about the Ignite program? If I'm a parent of a 7th or 8th grader right now, and I say, well, I want my kid to work with their hands, that's probably a different thing than if the student wants to, right? Whether the parent wants to or the student wants to.
And what I love about our school district is I really believe that we are just getting to the tip of the iceberg on really creating those personalized touches for our students, right? I very much believe in our traditional Hamilton education that I think prepares kids, right, for whatever their next step is, and does a nice job of getting kids ready for college or going into the workforce. But I also think that parents need to know that if their kids want to try something different, we have a lot of opportunities out there for them to do it. And I think the flexibility of these programs can allow for students to, they might sit in traditional classes in the freshman year and think, gosh, I really would like to go and try on some of these internships or some of these trades or whatever. And maybe in their sophomore year, they can pop into Ignite to do it, because again, it's still Hamilton High School and they want those work-based learning opportunities. And then the next year, dual enroll, go to the tech center, do it all right from Hamilton High School. It's one of those things where I want parents to know if they want to try something different with their kids, or their kids want to try something different, we have a lot of opportunities and they just need to ask.
And that's where I think we need to reiterate as well. I mean, it's all across the board, right?
Yeah.
It's high achieving academic students.
Yeah.
It's students who want to work with their hands. The Hope College, early college model.
Yeah.
We've already done a podcast episode on that. Mr. Bosch, our high school principal, will be on this week as well to talk about the Hamilton High School offerings, AP offerings. Across the board, we want to have something for everybody and to meet those students where they're at.
And I think I get just as excited. We had a great trades night the other day where, again, community businesses came in and answered questions for our families about how to get kids ready for apprenticeships. I get equally excited about in January during high school parent teacher conferences. I'm going to be hosting a night around how do you get your kids college credit while they're in high school, right? And so to just talk about all the different opportunities that our students have. And that's where I think Hamilton is just such a great place, because we focus on career development. College is a part of getting to that career they want. And so we have lots of flexibility.
You've met with parents a lot. I've seen parents in and out of our office and just asking questions, getting involved. What would your message be to parents who maybe have an outside of the box idea or want to ask questions about Ignite or anything else?
We never start with no, right? If people are wondering if we could try something, I'm always up for a good conversation to see how we can serve all of our kids in the best way, and make sure that I've said it before, my goal is when kids leave Hamilton High School, Hamilton Community Schools, they have a plan of what's next. And that is for me the most important thing, because our world is college is so expensive. So how can we reduce the cost of college? Or even, we don't want kids to start college and not finish. Right. We want them to go for the right reasons. And I want kids to go to college for the right reasons, but I also want them to get ahead if they want to go into the career field, because if they have the experience in the career that they want to go to, they will climb that business ladder much more quickly than those that don't.
Graduation requirements are becoming a thing for the class of 2027 at Hamilton High School as far as work-based learning goes. How does the Ignite program fit with that?
Yeah. And so this would take care of, like this year, what they're doing with some of their experiences will count as a work-based learning graduation credit requirement, which hopefully puts them in the path to then potentially have a job in one of these areas, which then could be multiple work-based learning graduation requirements for sure.
All right. Great information as always. Mr. Mat Rehkopf, Director of Career College and Innovative Programming, now here at Hamilton Community Schools. Outstanding job as always.
Great.
You get better every time you come on.
I got the face for radio.
Me too, unfortunately. That's why I told Dr. Lusk we should get rid of this camera here, but here we are. You can watch us on YouTube, watch us on Spotify as well, and then also listen to us anywhere you get your podcasts, and we'll always have these episodes advertised on our Hamilton Community Schools social media platforms. Mr. Mat Rehkopf, thanks for being on.
Great. Thanks.
All right, Hawkeye Nation, have a great day. This has been another edition of the H2Know podcast.